I can see it now.
Okay. Okay, we've been through that. All right. So we'll start off here. If a stoppage is already in progress, when 30 minutes remains before the agreed time for tea, you will bring tea forward by 30 minutes. Okay. The interval shall be of the agreed duration, and play shall resume at the end of the interval or as soon as other conditions permit, whichever comes later. If either, so this is now with a lunch or tea interval when 9 wickets are down. If either 9 wickets are already down when 3 minutes remains to the agreed time for the interval, or the 9th wicket falls within this 3 minutes leading up to the interval, or at any time up to and including the final ball of the over in progress, before the agreed time for the interval will not be taken until the end of the over that is in progress 30 minutes after the originally agreed time. So again, if we say, for example, at 2:30 is tea, I'm just giving a random time. You will start obviously at 3 o'clock. All right, you'll start your tea interval at 3 o'clock. Okay. So again, you'll move it 30 minutes later after the originally agreed time for the tea interval, unless the players have caused to leave the field of play or the innings is completed earlier. So you can leave the field, maybe rain comes, and obviously the one that happens is when the innings is completed, whether now the 10th wicket falls. All right, so we have intervals for drinks. If on any day the captains agreed that there shall be and it should be intervals for drinks, or option to take such drinks shall be made available to either side. Each interval shall be kept to as short as possible. So again, you try and maximize play, and any case shall not exceed 5 minutes. So we've discussed that earlier. Unless as permitted in 11.9, the captains agree to forego it. A drinks interval shall be taken at the end of the over, which is in progress when the agreed time is reached. So if your time for drinks, for example, is at 10:15, and you have a bowler that's now bowling and it's now 10:15, you're not going to stop the individual in the middle of the over. You will complete the over. All right. If, however, a wicket falls or a batsman retires within 5 minutes of the agreed time, then drinks shall be taken immediately. Why? Because 5 minutes is such a short duration, and the drinks interval is of maximum 5 minutes. So you will take it immediately if a batsman is out or retires. Intervals for drinks may not be taken during the last hour of the match. So that's in 4-day in time cricket. And again, you are a team with the scorers. Just remember that you are a team. Okay, so the umpire shall ensure that the scorers are informed of all agreements about hours of play and intervals and of any changes made here to permitted under these laws. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we've been through law 11. So we've covered law 2 and law 11. We're now going to move on to law 12, which is the start of play and session of play. So the last hour of the match, number of overs. When 1 hour of playing time of the match remains, according to the agreed hours of play, the over in progress shall be completed. The next over shall be the first of a minimum of 20 overs, which must be bowled provided the result is not reached. Okay, so this is obviously the last over of the game. According to law, last over of the match, sorry, not last over of the game, last over of the match, you must have a minimum of 20 overs. Okay, that are bowled in that prescribed time. However, playing conditions do state differently at certain times, and you'll read upon those when you are at that particular game. All right. So again, when the 1 hour of playing time of the match remains, according to the agreed hours of play, the over in progress shall be completed. So you complete the over as per, and the next over shall be the first of minimum 20 overs, which must be bowled, provided that the result is not reached earlier and provided there is no interval or interruption in play. Okay. When the minimum number of overs have been bowled in the last hour, further overs can be started only if the original time for close of play has not been reached. So what that means is your close of play, whatever comes last. So if your close of play is 6 o'clock, and at 6 o'clock, you've only, if at 6 o'clock, you've only bowled 18 overs, you will complete your 2 overs. But however, if at 6 o'clock, you have bowled your 20, if I'd say at 5 to 6, you will then bowl a further couple of overs until you reach 6 o'clock. All right. Okay, last over of the match, interruption of play. If there is an interruption of play during the last hour of the match, the minimum number of overs to be bowled shall be reduced to 20 as follows. The time lost for interruption is counted from the call of time until the time for resumption as decided by the umpires. 1 over shall be deducted for every complete 3 minutes of time lost. So that's quite simple. 20 overs divided by 60 is 3 minutes and over. Okay, last over of the match, interruption of play. In the case of more than one such interruption, the minutes lost shall be not be aggregated. The calculation shall be made for each interruption separately. So you'll treat each interruption on its own merit. Okay, you will not add, say for example, I lost 5 minutes now, then 10 minutes somewhere else. You will not add it together. Each interruption will be treated on its own merit. Okay, when 1 hour of playing time remains and interruption is already in progress, only the time lost after this moment shall be counted in the calculation. The over in progress at the start of the interruption shall be completed on the resumption and shall not count as one of the minimum number of overs to be bowled. So again, if you have a over that's in progress and now the last over begins and and everything is suitable, and you now have to work out the overs remaining, you will not take that particular over and say, right, if I have to complete 10 overs in the last hour, for example, you're not going to say, right, the 3 balls remaining is one of the 10. All right. If after the start of the last hour interruption occurs during an over, the over shall be complete on the resumption of play. The 2-part overs between them shall count as 1 over of the minimum number of overs to be bowled. I think that's self-explanatory. Okay, if an innings ends so that new innings is to be started during the last over of the match, the interval starts when the end of the innings and is to end 10 minutes later. Okay. If this interval is already in progress at the start of the last hour, then to determine the number of overs to be bowled, in the new calculation has to be made set out in 12.7. If the innings ends after the last hour has started, 2 calculations are to be made as set out below. The greater number of overs yielded by these 2 calculations is to be the minimum number of overs to be bowled in the new innings. Okay. Calculations are based on overs remaining as well. So at the conclusion of the innings, the number of overs that remain to be bowled of the minimum, the last hour is noted. If this is not a whole number, it is to be rounded up to the next whole number. So to ensure you get maximum overs, 3 overs for the interval to be deducted from the resulting number to determine the number of overs still to be bowled. And obviously calculation based on time. So at the conclusion of the innings, the time remaining until the agreed time for close of play is to be noted. 10 minutes for the interval to be deducted from the time to determine the playing time remaining. Okay, a calculation to be made of 1 over for every completed 3 minutes of playing time remaining, plus 1 more over if a further part of 3 minutes remains. Okay, so you got 2 calculations, one based on time, one based on number of overs remaining. Okay. All right. Is everyone all right? Everyone's abreast with what we've discussed so far. We'll now move on to law 14. Okay. And in law 14, we will discuss the follow-on. In a 2 innings match of 5 days or more, the side which bats first and leads by at least 200 runs shall have the option of requiring the other side to follow the innings. The same option shall be available in 2 innings matches of shorter duration with the minimum leads as follows. Ladies and gents, if you can just give me a second, I will just allow someone that is trying to get into the meeting. Okay, Mr. Dawud Mehta is back. Okay, so I'll just restart from low 14. The follow on. In a 2 innings match of 5 days or more, the side which bats first and leads by at least 200 runs shall have the option of requiring the other side to follow on their innings. The same option shall be available in a 2 innings match of shorter duration with the minimum leads as follows. 150 runs in 3 or 4 days, 100 runs in 2-day match, and 75 runs in a 1-day game. 1-day match, sorry. So this is obviously with 2 innings. So being time cricket, and these are the leads that you would be, the minimum will be required for in terms of your leads for the first inning. So or in the innings game. So you would have, if for example, if a team A bats and they made 300, it's a, say it's a 3-day game, and team A makes 300 and team B makes 140. So now that's a lead of 160 runs. That is 150 or more, and they can enforce the follow on. Is everyone all right with that? Okay, a captain shall notify the opposing captain and the umpires of his or her intention to take up this option. Once notified, the decision cannot be changed. So you cannot go back. The captain cannot come and tell you, no, I want to declare. Oh, sorry, I want to enforce the follow on. Sorry, I do apologize for that. I want to enforce the follow on. And then his coach, goes to the side of the field and his coach tells him otherwise. All right. He or she as a captain cannot change the decision. All right. If no play takes place on the first day of the match of more than 1 day's duration, okay, of more than 1 day's duration, in 14.1 shall apply in accordance with the number of days remaining from the start of play. So again, if you have a 5-day game and the whole first day is washed out, and now it becomes a 4-day game, your follow-on does now become 150. All right. I'll go back and just show you why. As you can see, in a 5-day, your follow-on is 200. But in a 4-day and 3-day, your follow-on is 150. So in a 5-day game, if your first day is washed out, it now becomes a 4-day game. But if you had 1 over in your first day, that stays as a 5-day game. Okay. Ladies and gents, I know we are going quite quickly. So we are going to start with low 18, which is scoring runs. And then we will end off for the evening. And then we will touch base with some revision questions as well before we close. Okay, the score shall be reckoned by runs. A run is scored in the following methods. So often as the batsman at any time while the ball is in play have crossed and made good their ground from end to end. So that's like you hit it to a fielder and you run and you touch a crease on either end. When a boundary is scored, when penalty runs are awarded, wide, no ball, etc. Short runs. A run is short if a batsman fails to make good his or her ground in turning for further run. Although a short run shortens a succeeding one, the latter, if completed, shall not be regarded as short. The striker setting off for the first run from in front of the popular crease may do so, as well as not to incur a penalty. So what they mean by that is, if on the first run, a 2 batters turn, and it's short for the one individual or the one batter, it does not mean that the second run does not get counted. It's a completed run on the second one, should they complete and touch good they ground in both ends. All right. And again, if a striker in terms of, say, he plays a double, comes down the wicket, double step, and he now starts his run. He now starts he starts running from that point of where he made contact with the ball. It does not mean he has to return back to his crease in the popping crease and come out. He can start his run from there. Okay, we're gonna deal with unintentional short runs. If either batsman runs a short run, the umpire's concerned shall call a signal short run when the ball becomes dead, and that run shall not be scored. If after either or both batsmen run short, a boundary is scored, the umpire concerned shall disregard the short running and not call or signal short run. Okay, so obviously if you have a boundary, the boundary gets counted, not the short run. As you would know, a lot of times it happens. Person hits it, they think they're running, they think it's not going to go to the boundary, or they think it's going to go to the boundary, and in that they decide not to complete the run, and they don't. But they see they're trickling to the boundary, and they think, hey, hold on, I need to start running here, and then in that they don't see where the popping crease is, and they miss it and turn around. But then thereafter the ball goes over. You may have called short run, okay? However, you will obviously disregard the signal because the boundary has then been scored. The ball has trickled over the boundary. If both batsmen run short in one and the same run, so you cannot get two short runs in one run. Quite simple, okay? It will only be one short run. If more than one run is short, then all runs called. A short run shall not be scored. You can get this, especially on the second run. Especially with youngsters, you may also get this. If there's been more than one short run, the umpire shall inform the scorers of the number of runs to be recorded. So if there's two short runs and 3 are scored, and 3 runs were meant to be scored, you will obviously tell the scorers only 1 run is to be scored because there were 2 short runs. Okay, we're going to get onto something that's a bit tricky now when it comes to deliberate short runs. If either umpire considers that one or both batsmen deliberately ran short, the umpire concerned shall, when the ball is dead, call and signal short run and inform the other umpire what has occurred. And further, you will disallow all runs to the batting side, return any knots of batsmen out, etc., to his or her original end, signal no ball or wide if applicable. So you're not going to signal no ball just because it was a deliberate short run. You'll signal no ball or wide if there was that in the particular delivery. And award 5 penalty runs to the fielding side. And inform the captain of the fielding side as soon as practicable, the captain of the batting side, and the reason for this action. So many years ago, you may have seen Kieron Pollard. I think he did it in the IPL. And the umpires followed suit in terms of the procedures. Okay, again, the umpires together shall report the occurrence as soon as possible after the match. So in that particular case, they would have reported it to the match referee. Okay. And any governing body, which will be at that time maybe the IPL or the BCCI, will take such action as considered necessary or appropriate against the captain, any other individuals concerned, and if appropriate, the team itself. I'm going to play a small video. I will try and get the. I am going to try and get the video to with sound. If you guys can give me a second.
Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This video is a new addition to the analysis series. Let's get started. On 15th of November 2018, second day of second test match between Sri Lanka and England, a strange incident happened. Let's watch the footage. Looks like a normal short run case, isn't it? Well, that's not the case. Let's see what umpire's decision was. If you did not understand what he signaled, he initially disallowed all the runs scored by the batsman on that delivery. Further, he informed the batsman about deliberate short running and awarded 5 penalty runs to the fielding side. Now, let's see what the cricket law has to say about running short. There are two categories in this: unintentional and deliberate. Let's take a look at unintentional short running first. If a batsman runs short, then the umpire shall call and signal short run as soon as the ball becomes dead, and that run shall not be scored. For example, if they run 2 and if they run 1 short, then only 1 run will be scored. Now, let's take a look at deliberate short run. Cricket law states that if either umpire considers that one or both the batsmen deliberately ran short, then wait for the ball to become dead and further disallow all the runs scored on that delivery, return the batsmen to their original end, and award 5 penalty runs to the fielding side. Now, let's see why the umpire considered this incident as deliberate short running. As you can see, both the batsmen start running and then striker Roshan Silva feels that the ball will reach the boundary. But upon seeing Moeen Ali has stopped the ball, he runs back to the striker's end. But in between, the striker Roshan Silva did not ground the bat at all, which made the umpire to consider this as deliberate short run. If he had at least tried to ground the bat, then most likely that the umpire would not have considered this as a deliberate short run. 5-run penalty for this feels a bit harsh, isn't it? Now let's see why exactly this law exists. In an IPL match between Mumbai Indians and Kings 11, while chasing 231, Mumbai Indians needed 16 runs of the last over. Kieron Pollard, who faces the first ball of the over, strikes the ball and sets off for the run, thinking that he can come back for 2. But upon realizing that he cannot make it, he runs back to the striker's end without completing the first run. And it can be seen that he did that deliberately as he wanted to get back the strike. It is clearly unfair as he got 1 run and also he came back to the strike. To prevent the players from doing such things, this law exists. But in Roshan Silva's case, he was not trying to gain any unfair advantage. But since he did not make any effort to complete the first run, it was ruled deliberate short run. Still have any doubts with this? Do let me know in the comment section. If you like the video, then hit the like button and share with all your friends. If you have not subscribed yet, then don't forget to subscribe for more such contents.
Hey, I trust everyone managed to hear that video. If you could please just let me know.
I heard everything.
Okay, fantastic. All right, it's now close on to 7 o'clock. It is now 18:54. We are going to do some revision questions and then we will end off this evening's session. So I will stop sharing this screen and bring up another screen. Hey, can everyone see that? Okay. Question number 1. In a 3-day match, the close of play on day 1 is 17:30. Team A is all out at 17:22 with 4 overs. Still 4 overs remaining in the day's play. What happens next? I'd like to go to the floor with this. If anyone would like to attempt, please just say your name and you can have a go. Okay, I will pick from the floor. Nishan, would you like to have a go with this one?
Mr. Juma, I just got back in right now. Our exec meeting just ended, so can I just pass on this one here? But I'm reading it right now.
Okay, this dealt with one of the laws earlier, but not a problem. Can I ask Dane, or would you like to have a go?
I'll go, Juma.
Oh, okay, I was about to go.
Vic, yeah, sure, Vic. Let's go.
Okay. Let me repeat the question. So in a 3-day game, on day one, right?
Correct.
We finished on 17:30. So now the side is ball by 17:22 with 4 overs. Remember that on a changeover, we take, what do we take? Is 2 overs, right? Man, no, it's 10 minutes, right?
Correct.
Which is in that 10 minutes. In that 10 minutes, you get 3 overs. So I'll say I'll call end of play, because you won't have time. Like, you don't want to be bowling 1 over and then calling time. I don't know if I'm correct or not.
Hey, if an innings ends when 10 minutes or less remains before the team, so you would have got the mark, Vic, just to let you know. Well done on that part. If an innings ends when 10 minutes or less remain before the time agreed for the close of play on any day, there shall be no further play on that day. No change shall be made to the time for the start of play on the following day on account of the 10-minute interval between innings. All right, so Vic, well done. Yes, when an innings ends 10 minutes or less before the agreed time for the close of play on any day, you'll call time immediately for that play, for that day's session, or that day's play, I should say. Okay. Dane, you were quite eager on that one, so I did call up your name. You're more than welcome to have a go at this one. I'll just move my cursor so you'll be able to see better. Lunch is scheduled from 12:20 to 1 o'clock. So again, a 40-minute lunch. The captain of the batting team declares his innings close at 12:55. What time would you restart your next innings?
I would say that the next innings will start at 1:05 because there's a 10-minute interval that's needed between the change of innings, and even though the lunch is going to finish at 1, you would need the extra 5 minutes.
Let's see what it says. If less than 10 minutes remains for the interruption of when the captain declares the innings closed or forfeits an innings, the next innings shall commence 10 minutes after the declaration of forfeiture is made. So well done. So at 12:55, you add 10 minutes, takes you to 13:05. Okay. All right. Lunch is scheduled from 12:20 to 1 o'clock. At 12:05, it starts to rain and the players have occasion to leave the field. Okay. So your lunch is scheduled from 12:20 to 1 o'clock. So you got a 40-minute lunch there. Okay. So that's 40 minutes. And at 12:05, it starts to rain and the players have occasion to leave the field. What happens then? Dawood?
Jim, so that doesn't mean we're obviously coming out. So rain comes in 15 minutes before schedule a lunch break. So lunch would be taken immediately.
Hey, if players have occasion to leave, I will move my cursor again. I do apologize. If the players have occasion to leave the field for any reason when more than 10 minutes remains before the agreed time for the lunch, then unless the umpires and captains together agree to alter, the lunch shall be taken at the agreed time. All right. So again, here it's 15 minutes. But if it was 10 minutes or less that remains, then you'll take lunch immediately. All right. Everyone happy with that? Dawood?
Yeah, thanks, James.
Okay, so it comes to agreement. I do apologize. I need to let someone in. Okay, everyone can still see that? All right, in a 3-day match, T is scheduled from 15:20 to 15:40. So again, we got a 20-minute T interval there. At 14:55. Sorry.
Jim, sorry to take you back. I just want to clarify one thing on that question number 3, right? So
Yeah.
when you say, okay, obviously if it's 10 minutes or lesser, that's okay. That's fine. I understand that part. But when you get to the last part, unless the umpires and captains together agree to alter it. So basically, are we saying that you are allowed to obviously agree between captains if the rain has fallen, for example, so you can agree at that specific point that, listen, okay, we can take lunch now. Is that what you say?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
If not, then you'll take tea lunch at 12:20.
Thank
Happy?
you. Sorry about that.
No. Guys, please ask questions. The only time you're gonna know is if you ask questions, guys. It's the only time. And I may not know something. If I don't know it, if I don't understand it myself, I'll go back. We're all human, we're all not perfect. Even though some might think they one or two people, we might think that they know everything, but guys, none of us in our association knows everything. Okay? I will go back to my superiors. I'll go back to the ones in on the panel and ask them how their interpretation is. So if I don't know something, guys, I will come back and ask. And please, I will not go to anyone in our association. I will go to the panel umpires and ask them. And I'm not gonna. And it'll be a question coming from me, of my understanding, and not from you guys. So no one must ever feel like they are not being heard, or they're asking silly questions. All right, in a 3-day match, T is scheduled from 15:20 to 15:40. So we discussed that at 20 minutes. Again, we've said earlier in the presentation, usually it's around 20 minutes. Team A is all out at 14:55. So what we're looking at around there, that we're looking at about a 15. So you're looking at 25 minutes there. Okay, until the scheduled T interval. I can go with Nishan on this one. What will happen next?
So I think because we'll have a 10-minute changeover, I think we would be able to, if we go into it will give us 15:05, so we would be able to go back and play till 15:40 and take it's scheduled at 15:20. Could we take tea straight away?
Hey, if an innings ends when 30 minutes or less remains before the agreed time for tea, the interval shall be taken immediately. It shall be of the agreed duration and shall include the 10-minute interval. Why we said that was because tea is such a short period. Tea is only 20 minutes. So we would take your tea interval immediately, and it would include your 10-minute changeover. So it will not become now a 30-minute tea. It will still stay as a 20-minute tea, which will absorb the 10 minutes there of the changeover. Okay, everyone happy with that?
So, Mr. Juma?
Yes.
So back on at 3:15 for that one.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Jum's question. I got a question.
Yes.
Okay, so now let me ask. Okay, and then we haven't really got this, but just thinking out of So let's say now when you say, let's say like before tea, so maybe let's say like before maybe 7 minutes to tea, like to a scheduled tea. All right, a player gets injured. All right. So let's say like in case of Vaughan, I'm not sure if ever you remember that when Vaughan got hit on the face. You remember that incident?
No, but you can carry on with this scenario.
So let's say now, a player gets hurt, okay, 7 minutes before the interval. Oh yeah, let me say like 7 minutes before the interval. What do you do? I know that they say that you can change a player, and then like because of the time that you lose in the game on that on that specific moment, do you call for an interval or do you still carry on playing till the time or what?
So in that particular instance, I think we have discussed a little earlier when it came to the retirement of a batsman. So when 3 minutes or less remains and a wicket falls or retirement of a batsman, you take the interval immediately. So in this particular instance, even though it's the player got injured and it may not be the batter, it may be anyone on the field of play, your time you will have, it's called extenuating allowances. Your scheduled tea will stay at the prescribed time for tea. You won't take tea earlier than the duration. So you'll allow for medical assistance. And if, for example, the injury happened at 15:13, you'll wait till 15:20 and take tea.
Thank you.
Yes, there are certain occasions if it's less than 3 or 4 minutes or 5 minutes, then again you'd consult and obviously take tea. But yeah, you'll in that particular instance, a physio might come on, and then thereafter the batsman has to go off, come back, or the batsman continues, and in that particular over that he got injured, the time then comes up, 15:20, you'll finish that over and then take tea thereafter. But good question,
Okay.
Rick. I'm actually going to propose this to one of the panel umpires and confirm my theory and my answer. Good question. Okay. Question number 5. So lunch is scheduled from 12:20 to 1 o'clock. And at 12:17, Team A lose a 9th wicket. What happens next? Shall we go to, I just want to see who else is on the call. Vic just had a chance to go. Can I go with Dane?
Now because Team A are 9 wickets down with 3 minutes remaining, you can extend the lunch by 30 minutes, provided that the innings doesn't end in that time. And then if it goes to the full 30 minutes, lunch would be from 12:50 to 13:30.
Okay, for the lunch interval, if either 9 wickets are already down and 3 minutes remains to the agreed time for the interval, or the 9th wicket falls within the 3 minutes, or at any time up to and including the final ball of the over in progress at the agreed time for the interval will not be taken until the end of that over that is in progress, 30 minutes after the originally agreed time for the interval, unless the players, of course, to leave the field or the innings is completed earlier. Well done, Dane. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go through some of these questions tomorrow with regards to the last hour. So guys, go read up on it. And then from tomorrow we can start off with the last hour, a few questions from that, and then we can go on to, we will revise the questions we've been on, and we will also go through some of these questions just to start off the session. It does kickstart the session and gets one into the mood of it, which definitely is something to just kickstart the brain for tomorrow's session, or for Thursday's session, I should say. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to conclude the session. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.